Hey, what's going on guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new around here, my name is Zephr, and in today's video I'm going to be showcasing pretty much the team that won Worlds with a couple minuscule changes here and there, my changes on a personal level, but yeah, let's get straight into this. So as I said before, this is primarily made up of the Pokemon that won Worlds, so Lando, Among Us, Iron Hands, Urshi, and Fluttermane were all on that team, but instead of Cresselia, there was Chien Pao. So I took Chien Pao off because I just don't think it fits super well into the team. I definitely understand why it was there. It leads into certain matchups and does super well. It allows Iron Hands and Urshifu and Lando to do even more damage. I just think that Cresselia is better. I will get around to talking about that when we talk about Cresselia on the team itself in the breakdown, but I just wanted to poke that out. Also, I haven't identically copied all of the Japanese player who won Worlds EV spreads. These are all my own spreads, so it's not an identical team. You can't just like use his team because I've not built his team. I've built my own version of his team with my own EV spreads, my item selections, move choices, etc. And I really like this team, so I'm just going to get into the breakdown. So to start off today's breakdown, we have none other than Fluttermane. I've talked about this Pokemon a hell of a lot on this channel. I think a lot of VGC YouTubers or streamers have. Fluttermane is easily probably the best Pokemon created in the whole of Scarlet and Violet, which is really funny to say because it's literally just a Mischievous clone with, you know, like crazy hair. But it came in, it had 70% usage at Worlds, it's been used all the way through Regulation C and Regulation D. It hits like a cannon, it's kind of squishy, but it is absolutely terrifying to go up against. If you want it to be fast, stick a booster energy on it, max its speed out, it can go before almost anything. If you want it to hit like a truck, it does that anyway, but put some choice specs on it and it does that even better. It's literally a glass cannon, but then it's actually able to be bulky as well. As we've had more and more time with it, people have built it bulkier and bulkier to the point it's at now. It's the Pokemon that just keeps on giving, really, you know? So yeah, Fluttermane. It's running Dazzling Gleam, Shadow Ball, Thunderbolt, and Moonblast because those are all pretty much the coverage moves that every Fluttermane uses. There were a couple niche changes at Worlds, which I thought were really cool, like we saw Grass Terra Fluttermane, we saw Water Terra, but this is the Fluttermane I'm running with the Fairy Terra to get that even more damage out of it, to take KOs on, say, Iron Hands or other things that threaten it. Yeah, Fluttermane is ridiculous. It's probably one of the best Pokemon ever created now, and it's kind of put its mark in VGC history now, so Fluttermane. Talking about Pokemon that have left their VGC mark, Urshifu is definitely up there. For all the new VGC players, Urshifu has two types. You've got Fight in Water, or you've got Fight in Dark, Single Strike variant and the Rapid Strike variant. The Dark one, the Single Strike, is nothing to mess around with. It's super good as well. It can take KOs, etc. I was using it before I used the Rapid Strike variant, but the Rapid Strike variant is the one that is most commonly being used, mainly because its main type is Water, which fits into a lot of teams really well, especially the balance cores we've seen a lot of since Scarlet and Violet came out, which compromise Grass, Fire, and Water, and then added Pokemon such as like Fluttermane to really be able to kind of get all the creases out of other teams, if that makes sense. But Urshifu's seeing all sorts of different play. I'm using the Choice Scarf Urshifu right now, which guarantees that it outspeeds the majority of the Pokemon in the game right now. I was running Safety Goggles, Bulky, Dark Urshifu before, but yeah, there's just so many ways this Pokemon can be ran. The main problem and the reason that people hate this Pokemon so much is because of its ability Unseen Fist, which means it can hit through Protect. In Sword and Shield, this wasn't so bad because you had Dynamax and you had Normal. Now you don't have any of that, so Urshifu can hit you no matter what, and that is, to be honest, as a VGC player, a bit of a problem. There are ways around it. If Wheezing comes in the future in the DLC, that'll also stop that effect. I intend to try that out as and when, if that does happen. But mainly, this Urshifu is running Choice Scarf, so it outspeeds anything on my opponent's team, unless it's Tailwind or such. Only locking it into one move is a bit of a problem, but if you bring it out as like your endgame sweeper and it can go out and outspeed everything as fast as possible, then you're not really going to have too many issues. And then it's got Water Terra to boost its already strong water type moves. Surgeon Strikes because it's the signature moves, it hits 3 times in a row, it crits every single time. It's the main thing that makes this Urshifu so menacing. Aqua Jet for priority. Also, if you bring Urshifu out at the end and you just need to hit first, then you win. U-Turn because it allows Urshifu to get out of kind of precarious situations where it doesn't want to be on the field. It also hits grass types like Heatran for super effective damage if they are terrestrialized into grass, because Heatrans don't want to be a fire steel type in front of an Urshifu, especially the Rapid Strike variant. And then Close Combat because it's another really strong form of stab for Urshifu, 120 base power, hits like a truck. Yeah, this Pokemon is just ridiculous. It's just so good. It's up there with Fluttermane. There are some really, really stupid Pokemon that exist at this point, and Fluttermane and Urshifu are definitely two of them. They saw so much play at Worlds for that reason, and I don't really have to say anything else about it, so yeah, Urshifu. So next up is my boy, the guy that won the World Championship. Everyone said he would, then everyone said he wouldn't, and everyone said he would, and he did. It's It's Iron Hands. Iron Hands has been in and out of the format a lot. Like, it was really, really good at the beginning with the Assault Vest and just being able to take out Flutter Mains, stay on the field, be an absolute problem to take out, continue to get recovery with Drain Punch. Then it fell off a bit when some higher ground types came into play, like Great Tusk and such, and just in general, like, especially when Rain and Balance and all that was such a thing. But I think it's just a really good Pokemon in general. It gets access to Fake Out, so, you know, that flinches your opponent the first turn that the Pokemon's on the field, unless they're running the Covert Cloak. It gets Drain Punch, once again, to give itself sustainability and be able to stay up and just continue to deal damage out. It's got Wild Charge as its main form of stab, which can pretty much OHKO any Flutter Main besides a very select few that are built to live that. Also, it takes out a ton of water types, and it's kind of the reason that water fell off, as in, like, rain teams and such. And then it's got Heavy Slam. My one does anyway. A lot of people will run, say, Sword Stance or Protect, or some other Stomping Tantrum as well is another move, a ground type move that it can use. The Heavy Slam guarantees that you take out any Flutter Main on the field, and it's also going to do a ton of damage to Fairy types in general. My Iron Hands is running the Assault Vest because I've already got max special defense investment in it, but I've given it that Assault Vest just so it lives things like Terastallized Choice Specs Moonblast from a Flutter Main, which is quite common in the format, even well, and then can just fire back and take him out straight away. And then it can just stay on the field by using Drain Punch. My Iron Hands has the Grass Terror because a lot of people are running Water at Worlds. I don't see the value to making your Iron Hands weaker to other Iron Hands, especially when it's such a common Pokemon in the format right now. And then you've got things like Thunderous, and you've got loads of Grass types doing the round like Rillaboom. I just don't see the value to that. Grass Terror allows Iron Hands to live those ground attacks from, say, Landorus. If Great Tusk was in the format, I'd say that as well, but just in general, ground attacks. It also means that Urshifu Rapid Strike is not going to be hitting it super hard as well. In fact, it's going to be hitting it very, very minimal damage. And it also means that it can't be spored by Among Us. So I just think Grass Terror is the best type for Iron Hands in general. I can understand why other people would run Water to try and mitigate damage from like Urshifu, but like Grass does that anyway, unless I'm missing something. So yeah, this is my Iron Hands. I think it's the best version of Iron Hands. Yeah. Next up is Landorus, a Pokemon I haven't actually had a ton of time using yet. I've kind of slept on Landorus, I think. So I've used Thunderous a fair amount. I've used Tornadus a fair amount, as it's like the premier Tailwind setter now. But I've always kind of thought, like, you know, Gyarados fills the role on my team a lot better, but I'm using Urshifu this time, so I don't necessarily need that. And then you've got Arcanine, but Arcanine fell off because Urshifu exists now. And then I came to Landorus, and I was like, there's obviously got to be a reason people are using this, right? And you look at the base stat total, and it's actually ridiculous. This thing is chonky, it takes hits, it deals damage, it's got a decent speed tier, it's got Intimidate. This thing is actually a tank. It's crazy. I've given it the safety goggles so that something like Among Us can't spore it, can't stop it from attacking what it wants to. And to be honest, Among Us is terrified of this thing anyway. So, like, the chance it's going to stay on the field with it about is pretty much minuscule. But you don't want any, like, pesky powder moves getting into it or anything like that. So, safety goggles is my choice. Some people would run safety goggles in Urshi. Some people would run it on Cress or Hands. I think my Landorus does really well with it. A lot of people use the Assault Vest variant. I think my Iron Hand suits that a lot better, personally. So I've given him the AV and my Landorus safety goggles. Intimidate requires no introduction. Being able to lower your opponent's attack stat by 1 when you enter battle is an extremely valuable move. It's super good. It's pretty much featured on every single team in the format, bar a couple others that are a bit edgy or when it doesn't really need to be there. Intimidate is a great ability. It's seen play through the whole of Pokemon. That's just self-explanatory. My Landorus has Flying Terror because then it gets 2 times damage Terror Blast and can murder any Among Us that sits in front of it. So that is another reason no Among Us wants to be sat in front of my Lando. And then it's got Rock Slide for coverage into both slots, the flinch chance, and it's good damage for the physical attack that Lando has. I've got U-Turn because once again it allows Landorus to pivot out and then come back in and intimidate a second time. It also once again hits things like Heatran if they Terrastallize into grass for super effective damage. Iron Hands as well, for example, like my Iron Hands will take a ton of damage from this Landorus on a U-turn. And I've got Stomping Tantrum as the main form of ground coverage. Some people use Earthquake. I just think on my team, when I'm running Hands especially, and if it's not Terrastallized, I don't particularly want to murder my own Hands. So Stomping Tantrum is there. Stomping Tantrum becomes double damage if it fails the first time, which is even more incredible. I think I did like 3/4 damage to a Heatran earlier while it was Grass Terrored, and that is ridiculous considering it's not very effective. So yeah, this Pokemon is ridiculous. It's goated. I fully understand why people use it now. I was underestimating it a bit. I completely get it now. It is powerful. It does everything it needs to do, and I love it. Landorus. Next up on the list is another VGC staple. It's Among Us. Talking about it loads a second ago. My Among Us pretty much exists on my team to be able to create openings for the rest of my team. Spore is incredible. It's one of the most broken moves in the game. Just being able to sleep something like that for up to 3 turns is crazy. Pollen Puff gives the rest of the team the ability to regain health and continue to stay on the field. Say Iron Hands and Mungus being on the field together and not being able to deal with either of them is a big problem. They can just start taking KOs and keeping each other about even more. Rage Powder for redirection is incredible, especially say against Urshifu, who doesn't have safety goggles, because I've got the Rocky Helmet item, which is a lot of usage right now. It is really, really good. Urshifu gets redirected by Rage Powder. It uses Surging Strikes. It has to hit Among Us 3 times. It does barely any damage to Among Us. Among Us takes away like 50% of Urshifu's health with the Rocky Helmet. It is crazy, and it's probably one of the main reasons that this Pokemon's still about, bar everything else I've already explained. The Water Terror, so that say Urshifu is doing even less damage to Among Us, and there's a lot of Sun teams running around, so things like Hisuian Typhlosion, Eruption, or Torkoal Eruption, or just, you know, Heat Wave, Heatran. You can Terra Water. This thing is going to sit there and be able to take that as well. Regenerator is an insane ability, being able to take Among Us in and out of battle and get some of its health back and just give it even more longevity. And Protect, because you don't always want your Among Us to have to be attacked. A lot of people run Clear Smog instead. I can completely understand that. Dondozo Tatsugiri still exists. Sword Stance still exists. It's kind of like touch and go. Among Us has a load of sets. That is a really good set. This is just mine. So yeah, Among Us. And finally on today's list is the Pokemon I swapped out Chien Pao for. I have Cresselia, and I think I have good reason for this. So Cresselia kind of adds so much value to this team in itself. Chien Pao is there primarily to boost the damage of Urshifu, Iron Hands, and Landorus, and it does that really well as, you know, hitting Icicle Crashes on, say, Landos for super effective damage and taking KOs, being able to flinch. Yeah, Chien Pao's an incredible Pokemon. I've talked about it a lot. I think Cresselia adds a lot of value here. So Cresselia has Trick Room for one, and there's a ton of speed control going around in the format. I don't necessarily think you need Tailwind if you have Trick Room. If there is an opponent's Trick Room on the field, you can reverse that Trick Room with Cresselia. And Cresselia is quite bulky, so it's not just going to go down in 1 or 2 hits. You know, it can do that quite well. It's got Lunar Blessing, so it can heal all the members of my team up as and when, and itself, which is a ridiculous move. And whoever at the Pokemon Company came up with that, you are absolutely mental. I don't know why Cresselia needed this, considering it was already a ridiculous Pokemon. But it exists now. There's not much we can do about that. It stops Iron Hands from getting burned, Urshifu, so they keep their damage numbers up. You've got Calm Mind, so Cresselia can set up if it wants to, give itself that extra special defense boost and special attack boost. And then Moonblast with Terra Fairy to be able to deal with, say, Urshifus or other dark types, other fighting types, like, you know, just in general by itself. Like, Cresselia can do some damage. It's not going to do a ton just sat there on the field without any Calm Mind boost, but it can take the KOs on low health Pokemon. Calm Mind can give it the ability to actually take KOs for itself. And as I said, if you've got Trick Room, I don't necessarily think you need other forms of speed control. You can see your opponent use Tailwind, instantly Trick Room. You now have priority for 3 turns. And then when you're running Pokemon like, say, Among Us and Iron Hands, you can give yourself, like, priority for even more turns, because the Trick Room is going to benefit you, and your opponent doesn't have a way around that unless they're running Trick Room themselves. Cresselia has Levitate, so it doesn't get hit by any ground moves, which is really, really good in a format with like Landorus and many other Pokemon that have moves like Stomping Tantrum, Earthquake, all that sort of thing running around. And then I've given my Cresselia the Covert Cloak, so if my opponent wants to bring their own, say, Iron Hands out or whatever Fake Out Pokemon they have to the field and Fake Out my Cresselia to stop it from doing support things, then the Covert Cloak actually stops that from happening. So most Cresselias are running safety goggles. My Lando's got them, as I said, to be the Among Us Destroyer. My Cresselia's got Covert Cloak to just let it do what it wants to do as and when, and my opponent can't really do anything about that. So yeah, I think Cresselia is really good. I think it slots into any team really, really well. It can heal Pokemon, it can control the game, and it just threatens your opponent while it's on the field, you know? Like, it's crazy. And that is going to be about it for the team breakdown, guys. So if you want to use this team, as per usual, the code is in the corner of the screen. I'll also put it in the description below, alongside the Pokepaste for the team, for the spreads, the moves, all the EVs, IVs, all that sort of stuff. So if you want to build the team yourself, you can. If you want to build an individual Pokemon, you can. All the information is there for you. Thank you so much for the constant support on the channel, guys. We're like literally less than 30 subs away from 600 subs. I don't know where that time's gone. It was only the other day I was literally begging you to get to 500. Now we're getting to 600, so if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. It means the world to me. It continues to support my channel. It continues to allow me to move towards that goal of making this my dream job one day, and I love you all that do support me. If you haven't got my post notifications on, turn them on by hitting the little bell next to the subscription button below. That means you'll never miss a video from me, and once again, I thank you so much for that support. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed, because that helps me so much with the YouTube algorithm you wouldn't understand. It's crazy. And let me know what you think of the team. Let me know what you think is good, what you think is bad, if you use the team, how it went for you, all that sort of jazz, you know? So yeah, that's really about it. So So I've been Scott Zephr, guys. Thank you so much for being here, watching my videos, come to the channel, all that sort of thing. I love you all so much and I appreciate you. And I will see you in the next video. Let's go watch some games. Peace. Alright, so what does my opponent lead in this game? That is the question. Galar, Rank Master. Right, so we've got Rapid Strike Urshi, which sucks straight up. And then we've got Chien Pao. So this isn't great. However, we are going to get an Intimidate here, so that's huge. And I can fake out this Urshi, so unless this Urshi's running Protect, that would suck. I feel like what really needs to Terra here? I don't want to Terra Lando yet. It's that simple. But I feel like I have to get it off the field. So we're going to go Cresselia here. Yes. I don't want to Terra Lando on turn 1 because it's never the best play to use your Terra. Like, yes, it probably is optimal. Is it going to help me a ton? No. What would have been good here is probably having Among Us, but I can't solely rely on Among Us. There's plenty of ways to deal with Urshi. Ghost Terra Chien? Yeah, that's fine. I'm actually okay with that. That's a really clever play, thinking I'd fake you out on the Chien Pao, get rid of your Zephr. Your Urshi concerns me more, and it actually getting a move off concerns the hell out of me. Good damage. It's almost 25%. That's crazy. Ice Spinner can do considerable damage. Yeah, that's fine. Life Orb Chien Pao. Now that's interesting. Right, now what I think is important is taking out this Urshifu, right? I think my hand survives, right? So we're gonna go Terra Fairy. No, it's Terra Electric still. I haven't changed it. God damn it, that's awful. I need to change that big time. Ice Spinner. So it depends. Do you want to get rid of my Cresselia here, or do you want to get rid of my Iron Hands? Like, U-turn. Okay, fine. I'm actually super okay with that as well. Chien Pao ain't gonna like the next turn, that's for sure. I'm glad I haven't used my Terra yet, right? Okay, now that's something to be concerned about, but we can deal with that at the same time. Alright, we get Wild Charge on this for free. We do about 30%, I want to say that is. Rocky Helmet Arcanine kind of sucks. Damage from recoil. I'm about to lose my hands. I hate that, but there's not really much I can do about that, unfortunately. Cress getting off the Trick Room here is huge, because neither of these Pokemon want to be in Trick Room. I don't want to swap. I think I just let hands go down here, and then I bring Lando in. I think I just go for all-out damage here. Do I want to get rid of this Chien Pao? I feel like getting rid of Chien Pao is better here. And then I'm going to... I'm going to Lunar Blessing here, just to get the HP back up as well. E-Speed. Okay, that's fine. Chien Pao might take out my Crest this turn then. But next turn actually gives me really good field position. Sucker Punch, that's actually super fine with me because you don't have Throat Chop, because so many Chien Pao running Sucker Punch now instead. That actually works out fantastically for me. Cresselia's back at 188. We bring out Lando now. Lando can take the KO on this Crest easily. I'm sure it can. On this Crest, on this Chien Pao. I'm being an idiot, do not mind me. Go Terra Flying into the Chien Pao. And I think we just Lunar Blessing again, yeah. How long's left on Trick Room? 3 turns. Right. If we Lunar Blessing here to keep both my Mon up, Cresselia's just going to be an annoyance here more than anything. Flying Terra is going to seriously benefit me with Urshifu as well, considering you've used your Terra. So I know now I can get rid of this Chien Pao, I can get rid of the Urshifu, and I just need to know what the last Pokemon in your slots is. Lando about to go Burrow, baby. That's fine with me. Not concerned about that in the slightest. Ice Shard? Yeah, that's fine. I'm going to heal that right back up, Chien Pao, I'm afraid. That was decent damage with Life Orb as well. Cress is just going to go ahead and just, like, say no. Cress is just, like, really good on any team. Like, and the ability to, like, change the speed, especially in a game like this where your opponent looks like he's playing super hyper-aggressive. Like, and they can Tailwind on turn 1 or just bring out 2 super aggressive Pokemon. And then you're just like, right, but Cresselia now comes in because you didn't know if I had it or not. And then you threaten Trick Room, and then you're in really good position. Yeah, that's Urshifu coming back out. This is fine. Right, so I'm just going to target down this Urshi right now, to be honest. Actually, I don't know about that one. Maybe I double the Urshifu slot here. What's potential out back still? Wo-Chien, Iron Bundle, Tornadoes. I think it's Wo-Chien out back. It's Wo-Chien or Bundle. I don't see you bringing Tornadoes to this match. If you do, then it's kind of just a huge throw. So this turn, actually, we're going to go Terra, and we're going to go Moonblast this slot as well. Aqua Jet ain't going to do enough at all. Cresselia hits the Moonblast. Hershey doesn't go down, so that was worth doubling into that turn. We get rid of Hershey, which is huge. So it's definitely Choice Scarf Hershey, because otherwise you would have used any other move. Like, that's the only move that would allow you to actually do anything. Will-O-Wisp here is okay for my opponent, but I just use Lunar Blessing to heal that right back up. So, once again, problem solved. Bundle. No, it is Wo-Chien, I was right. I did think that would be the case. Right. Let's go Terra Blast, Wo-Chien, and Lunar Blessing. Yeah. Get rid of this Wo-Chien as fast as possible. Right, this just gives me the double damage Stomping Tantrum now. So next time we're going to Stomping Tantrum into Arcanine, which is absolutely blessing for me. Going to get some damage, but I'm not really too fussed about that. Landorus is going to be back up to 3/4. I was either going to take a huge damage Terra Blast there on Wo-Chien, or I was going to get the Stomping Tantrum double damage, so that was just a win-win in my case. I think I have one turn left as well. The fact that, oh my god, well stop burning my Landorus. Right, Twisted Dimensions returns to normal. This is absolutely fine. We go Stomping Tantrum, we go Lunar Blessing. Cresselia is just being a pain in the butt here. Like, it's just stopped all the burns, stopped him from mitigating my damage. The only thing that's really going to mitigate damage now is Wo-Chien, Tablets of Ruin, but I don't think that's enough for Lando to not murder it. Flare Blitz isn't going to do it. 40 damage. Arcanine's going to go down this turn no matter what now. Please. No, not enough. Okay. Rocky Helmet sucks here. Crest gets Lunar Blessing off. Double damage Stomping Tantrum did almost nothing there. That was really sad. Wo-Chien can't Leech Seed my Lando though because it's flying, which is huge. You can Leech Seed my Crest. That's not really going to mean a lot when like you're not really mitigating anything my Landorus is doing to you. I think this turn we actually go after Wo-Chien again. We just keep clicking Lunar Blessing. Like, Crest is just here, like, doing Crest things. Like, this is why this Pokemon is so annoying. That was just never gonna do it. Like, that. Like, I'm assuming that was just, like, last stands kind of thing, right? Terra Blast doing what? Wo-Chien bulky, they say. Wo-Chien seems to be sat down right now. Like, you're going to have to protect it this next turn to make sure it doesn't get O-code, so I can just Stomping Tantrum the Arcanine this turn, and that should be it. Giga Drain is not going to do it for you, sir. But I don't think it's impossible to play, and I think it definitely fits into certain matchups. I just don't think it's as good as you'd like it to be. I think I switch in Flutter Mane this turn, I can't lie. Yeah, I switch in Flutter Mane this turn. Leech Seed things are really cool, though, you know, so... Yeah, that's fine. We predicted that. Do you protect the 9? You can't, because otherwise it would have gone first. Flare Blitz, unless you get a crit here. Nope. So Stomping Tantrum should just do this now. Double damage. Stomping Tantrum did that much damage, so... And we're not burned this time, so goodbye. Good riddance. Does Lando live the Rocky Helmet damage? That's the question. Yes. Oh my god. 5 HP. Terra Blast here. Moonblast here, and that should be the game. My opponent probably quits anyway. No, he tries to double protect. Okay. To be fair, that's a good play because my Wo-Chien has actually won a 1v3 before, so... But Flutter Mane just finishes him off anyway. Landorus didn't even have to do anything. Landorus didn't even leave the field, if I remember correctly. It came out, and then... Well, it did at the start, I'm pretty sure, if I remember this game correctly. But then it just caused absolute chaos from there. Like, Landorus is so good, I understand, finally. What's going on, my boy? She and Torn. Okay. That really does suck. But there's a play here, right? Go for Surgeon Strikes. I want to see you go for Surgeon Strikes all the same. Bring my boy in, and then... If I U-turn into... Well, do I even need to U-turn here, or can I just take out Torn here? I feel like I could just take Torn out here. Actually feels kind of useless later on, so if we go for Surge here, and we switch Lando out into Among Us, we get the Rocky Helmet damage, so I think this is okay. I think most players go for the Surgeon Strikes there, no matter what. What do you do otherwise? Close combat into Urshifu, or like what? Okay, Torn is not going to set Tailwind up. What is Tornadus doing? That is Omega damage. Torn being on 1 HP on turn 1 is great. Oh, you do close combat. Okay. It's not a ton. I respect it, though. Does mean that I can go after that Urshifu now, though. Bleak Wind. Miss my Mungus. Go on. No! Mungus deserved better. I think I do just Rage Powder again here. Yeah, I'm going for another Surging Strikes here. Or do I? Yeah, I think I do. I think I do go for another Surging here into Torn. Like, because this will force your Urshifu to have to attack my Mungus, right? And if it CCs, it doesn't kill it. Set the Tailwind, because you know your Tornado's going to go down now, which is fine. That Bleak Wind was very scary. This is also okay. Among Us takes 50 damage from that, if that. So you're on -2 defense and special defense, which is huge. Rocky Helmet damage is also huge. Surging Strike's in there, fantastic. And I'm locked into the move that I would want to be locked into, right? So the only problem is my opponent has Tailwind now. Bundy is a bit concerning, I won't lie about that one. I think I need to keep Among Us alive right now, right? So we can switch into Lando here, because she's only going to be able to use close combat. And I think I would want to U-turn here. Oh, I can't U-turn because I'm on Scarf, aren't I? Of course. And then I think I'm going to want to switch into... no, bad decision. Right, we switch into Hands on this side, and we switch into Lando on there. And then if you do go for an electric move into my Urshi, then you're actually going to be hitting my Lando. That's why you always think about your moves before you click the button. Like, that is my primary example, you know? Like, because from doing that, I managed to determine that this was the better way to switch my Pokemon rather than just switching them in either slot. Now my Monk's going to get some regeneration. My Urshifu's not totally threatened. Lando's on the field and hit that Urshifu for 2 Intimidates now, so CC is not going to do too much, and it's going to be at -3. And then if this Thunderous goes for my Urshifu, it's going to hit a not very effective attack, so that's huge. My Lando's fine on the board here because, oh god, actually that is very concerning. Oh my god, no. But it's not actually at the same time because I have Hands on the field now, so that actually kind of works. CC isn't going to do too much at all. 30 damage, literally nothing. If that Thunderous hits a Terra Blast though, I am going to be very, very angry, but there are ways around it. Wild Bolt Storm, that's fine with me, okay? Like, that is actually super fine. I think the only problem is that now I can't hit this Thunderous for anything super effective because I don't have a Grass type. Well, I do, but it's not got any attacks, and I can't hit it for super effect because of Volt Absorb, so I just have to Drain Part. I'm going to fake out this Urshifu here, and I'm going to go straight for a... What's the last Pokemon out back, potentially? Lando, Goodra. I think I just go for a Stomping Tantrum in that sort as well, you know? We double into the Urshifu here. Terra Blast. Withdrawing, that's okay, but we're going to fake out the Urshi, and we're going to be able to Stomping Tantrum it, and that should take it out this turn. There's the Lando. That's what I wanted to see. Right. That fake out did half a bar of damage because of all the CC drops, which is insane. Stomping Tantrum should clear that right. Lovely. Right. That is my Landorus's biggest threat removed from the field. I'm very happy about that. Now I just need to wait for this Tailwind to expire. We can Surging Strikes into the Lando Eye to destroy it. And we just need to deal with this Thunderous as well. I think I can just, like, Drain Punch for recovery here. And, like, his team doesn't really have a lot to deal with my Lando T here. So I think I can just, like... Do I just U-turn here? No, I don't want to U-turn. I just want to get damage off, really. Let's Stomping Tantrum into this. Let's get rid of this Thunderous first, right? Because I'm pretty sure my Urshifu can just win the game against Lando Eye. Sandsear Storm. That was actually a good choice. That's going to hurt my hand a ton. Jesus Christ. Like, and Lando Eye does hurt. Like, no way. We do have Terra Blast. Oh my god. I have absolutely underestimated, like, that sucked so hard. I lost my Lando for 3 there. But at the same time, there wasn't really too much my Lando could have done here anyway. So this is overall a better thing to happen for me. I'm irritated because I love my Lando, but now I think I can just win the game. I have to bring in Urshifu because Urshifu has Choice Scarf and he attacks first. And if this Lando Eye protects anyway, we just KO it no matter what. And then we just Drain Punch into this Thunderous. I think I Terra Drain Punch here this turn, and I Surging Strikes to this, and that should be the game. The Sandsear Storm does a ton of damage, as just proven. and this will prevent that from happening. I don't think the Lando Eye even gets to go anyway, but this was my best terror for the game. Now especially, just to mitigate as much damage as possible. But my Urshifu should just KO the Lando Eye first, and then we should just be able to clear up the Thunderous. Yep, that Lando Eye is going to die. Jesus. There is almost nothing that can survive the Rapid Strike Surgeon Strikes when it's super effective. It's crazy. Like, now Wild Bolt Storm, I presume. Wild Bolt Storm, Terra Blast, okay. That's going into my hands, right? So this Grass Terra does it fine. Yep, 40 damage, and now we just Wings with the Drain Punch. Good team, interesting. Scared the hell out of me with the Terra Blast Water. And played the mind game to make me think it wasn't there at all, but we win in the end, so that's all that matters. The climb continues. I do like Fundy T here. I think Fundy T is really good. I've used it in my Rain team already. Yeah, I think it's better in this game than it's ever been. So yeah, cool team.
Saves hundreds of lives.
Mm-hmm.